Do you recommend on every level? Now, your dad, sometimes richest man in the world. I don't know how you get over that, but therapy, I imagine, at some point.
Making real progress.
Yeah.
They have made real
But you go off on your own and you prove yourself as your own success, and that's a tremendous accomplishment. And then your dad gives you a hunk of dough, not for you, but to give away. Now, I did the same thing with my kids. Much smaller amounts of money, by the way. Very small, but I said, here's a little bit. We have a little donor-advised fund, and I said, here's a little bit that you, every year, pick something you care about, because I wanted them to get the idea of giving to something that wasn't them. Should every parent do it with their kid, even if it's like $100 at the end of the year, like pick a charity and give it?
Well, I would say yes, but I would say go to the root of the word philanthropy, which is the love of people, and it doesn't even have to be money. But I do think every parent should go with their kid either to the place. I would say more than giving it away, go to the place you're giving it to.
You're right, because it could be just your time you're giving.
Yes, absolutely.
You could make them work in a soup kitchen or make them sit with old people. I don't care what it is.
Yeah, because then also you're hearing the stories, you're meeting a person eye to eye, you're really getting the sense that not everything's fair. How do we make it more fair? How do we hear these stories and really touch people?
Now, there's one thing about philanthropy that I'm not sure if we disagree, but you said something about people do it just to make themselves feel better about their guilt.
Conscience laundering.
Conscience laundering, yeah.
Right.
My conscience needs the laundry. I mean, I need to launder my conscience. Is that necessarily a bad thing?
Yeah, well, maybe not. Yeah, knowing the kind of soap you're laundering in.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see. See where the soap goes. If it goes right into the river that the kids are playing in,
they're polluting the river.
Good.
Hey, Peter. But Bill Gates is trying to wipe out malaria. He's picked that. If you had all of your dad's resources, or if you had unlimited resources, what's the one thing you would target? How would you like to make the difference in the world? What's your one thing?
Boy, that's a tough question, and I would try and go as far upstream as I could. So in other words, so many things I think are symptoms. The environment, health, poverty, education, all these things to me are symptoms. It doesn't mean they're not worth our attention, but I think you need to go upstream and say, what is creating a world where these things need to be solved? And so that's where I would go with it. I can't tell you exactly what I would do, and I don't think it would be one thing. I think there would be sort of an ecosystem of issues from different directions. But I would, the bottom line is I would go as far upstream as possible and say, how can we really address the systemic nature of all this stuff?
Right. We've been to some of the same places. Our morning show has been to Bangladesh twice.
Wow.
We've been to the slums of Dhaka. We've been to Senegal. Have you been there and stood in that hallway where they used to ship the slaves out?
Wow, I have not been there. I've been to the other places you've mentioned, but not there.
And you said you don't know until you go. We try to tell people about it, but you really kind of don't know until you go.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, being face-to-face, being in the experience, it'll change your life forever.
We've been to Portland, too, and that's
We've been
terrible.
to Portlandia. Have you ever been to Portlandia?
People in Portland are very sad.
You don't even have to go all the way to Portland, Aberdeen. Man,
they don't even have a shaver to shave their armpits down there.
They're so thin.
Won't you help?
Eric has a question for you. Eric kind of got us started with doing humanitarian work. Eric, go ahead.
Well, Peter, Jody and I were in India just in December with World Vision, and one of the things that was the most inspiring to us was to see the work that was being done with young women, girls and teens. And it seemed to us that to really transform a society, that's a great place to start. And if you were going to start empowering women and girls, how far do you think that would go in transforming poverty?
Well, if you go to novofoundation.org, you will see that is a huge part of what we do. That is exactly right. It's the most essentially efficient investment. Girls are, in my dad's parlance, the undervalued asset in today's world.
In the world.
And in fact, if you invest in them, you will create generational change, because only a girl will be the mother of every child. So, hands down, the best thing you can do down the street or around the world is support a young girl in education, health, all the things that will bring her into her own power.
Right. And it's hard to know unless you go, and even then it's kind of hard to know what societies that are developing societies around the world, how held back women are.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And again, you can't go in and say, hey, this is wrong. You just go in and start to create the conditions which come in a variety of forms so that the girls can find that power again in themselves. They have it. They just need to be in the settings that allow it to come through.
Peter Buffett. Hey, Peter, what music are you working on now?
Well, just finished the song you were hearing, which is a free download again on my site.
We'll put a link.
And I just keep, playing from the heart, having these experiences, creating new music, and there's always something new coming out.
All right. Peter Buffett, yes, the son of the famous, not the Cheeseburger in Paradise guy, but Warren Buffett.
Exactly.
And doing good work. Peter, it's nice to meet you. If you ever come to Seattle, please stop in and say hi.
I absolutely will. I'd love that. Thank you.
Very good. There he goes, folks.